When people talk about trash talk in basketball, the names that usually come up are the loud ones: Reggie Miller, Charles Barkley, Gary Payton. But what if I told you that the coldest, most ruthless trash talker in NBA history wasn't the one yelling in your face? What if it was the quiet, slow-looking kid from French Lick, Indiana? Larry Bird. Yes, the same Larry legend who looked like your neighbor's uncle, moved like he had concrete in his shoes, and was always labeled as unathletic. He didn't need flash. He didn't need speed. He had something far more devastating: the confidence to tell you exactly what he was going to do, and then humiliate you by doing it right in your face. This is the untold story of Larry Bird's trash-talking empire, filled with moments so shocking that even his rivals admitted they couldn't believe what they saw. Larry Bird wasn't just one of the greatest players of all time, with 3 MVPs, 3 championships, and countless unforgettable moments. What made him different was how he weaponized words. See, most players talk after the play, maybe scream after a dunk or argue with refs. But Bird, he'd talk before the play even started. He'd walk up to defenders, point to a spot on the floor and say, "I'm going to shoot it right here, in your face. Merry Christmas." Then he'd calmly go to that exact spot, rise up, and drain the jumper as if it were scripted. Gary Payton, one of the most venomous trash talkers the NBA has ever seen, admitted it flat out. "The coldest dude I ever faced, Larry Bird." Bird didn't raise his voice. He didn't pound his chest. He didn't have to. His words cut deeper because he backed up every single one of them. Imagine being a young defender trying to make your mark in the NBA. You're told to guard Larry Bird, an all-star, a legend. You're nervous, but locked in. Then Larry looks you dead in the eye and says, "I'm going to hit this jumper right in that corner, right over you. Watch this." And what happens? Exactly what he promised. Xavier McDaniel remembers one of his first games against Bird. Late in the fourth quarter, Bird told him, "I'm going to get it right here, and I'm going to shoot it right in your face." McDaniel tried everything, stayed tight, contested hard, but Bird hit the shot anyway. As they jogged back down the court, Bird smirked. "I didn't mean to leave 2 seconds on the clock." Think about that level of arrogance. Not just scoring on you, but apologizing for leaving you with any time left. Bird's confidence wasn't bluffing, it was pure execution. Bird wasn't only ruthless to individual defenders, he called out entire teams. There's a legendary story from when Boston played Denver. The Nuggets put John Hanslick, a white defender, on Bird. Now, Hanslick was actually a solid defensive player, but to Bird, it wasn't about talent, it was about respect. He ran by the Denver bench, yelling at head coach Doug Moe, "Get him off me. That's disrespectful. Put a black guy on me. I play against brothers, not this." And then he torched Hanslick possession after possession, running by the Nuggets bench after every bucket to rub it in. He wasn't just scoring. He was dismantling Denver's pride in front of their own coach. Bird's trash talk wasn't loud or vulgar. It was surgical, calm, direct, and devastating. And it broke players mentally. It wasn't just in games. Bird's trash talk carried over to All-Star Weekend, where legends from every team gathered. The very first three-point contest. The locker room was filled with sharpshooters. Craig Hodges, Dale Ellis, all the greats of that era. Everyone was nervous, silent, taping their wrists, lacing their shoes. Bird finally walks in, looks around the room without saying a word, and then finally breaks the silence. "I'm just here to see who's finishing second." That was it. That was his entire speech. And then he went out, never even took off his warm-up jacket, and destroyed the competition, walking away with the trophy like it was his birthright. But he didn't stop there. In 1988, down in the finals, he needed the last shot to win. The crowd is on edge. The clock is running out. Bird nails the final money ball at the buzzer, points to the scoreboard as if to say, "I told you so," and struts away. He knew before anyone else the contest was his. Bird didn't just shoot threes. He stole your confidence while doing it. Bird's arrogance went beyond trash talk. It became a challenge to himself. On a road trip in 1986, Bird told reporters before a game against Portland, "I'm saving my right hand for the Lakers. Tonight, I'm going left-handed." And he wasn't joking. Bird played almost the entire game shooting left-handed jumpers, hooks, even layups. By the end of the third quarter, he had 27 points with his off hand. When the game tightened late, he casually switched back to his right hand and finished the Blazers off. What other player would handicap themselves in an NBA game, then casually dominate? Bird wasn't just humiliating opponents, he was entertaining himself. Some stories sound made up until multiple players confirm them. Against Atlanta, Bird got so hot one night that the Hawks bench literally started celebrating his shots. Not Boston's bench, Atlanta's. Every bucket felt scripted. Bird called out off the glass before sinking a banker. Another time, he told the defender in the trainer's lap before drilling a rainbow three and crashing into the bench. The Hawks players couldn't hold it together. Antoine Carr, Cliff Levingston, Eddie Johnson, they were high-fiving, falling off the bench in laughter. Their own coach fined them after the game for celebrating an opponent. But what could they do? Bird turned the game into comedy, and they were helpless witnesses. Rookies always talk about their welcome to the NBA moment. For many, that moment was Larry Bird. Dominique Wilkins remembers Bird hitting shot after shot, then calmly telling him, "Rook, I like you. You've got guts, but I'm still dropping 30 on you." Bird finished with 38. Another rookie recalled Bird pointing out his exact move to Mark West, saying, "I'm coming off this screen, catching it right there, and shooting in the rookie's face." He did exactly that while West just shrugged. "Yeah, good luck, kid." Bird didn't just outplay rookies, he made them question whether they even belonged in the league. The only player who could match Bird's mind games was his eternal rival, Magic Johnson. Their battles defined the 1980s, but off the court, there was mutual respect. Magic tells a story of being injured and sitting out against Boston. Before tip-off, Bird leaned over and whispered, "Since you're here, I'll put on a show for you." That night, Bird went off. 38 points, 20 rebounds, 15 assists. After every bucket, he turned and looked at Magic as if to say, "This one's for you." Magic admitted later, "Most guys talk trash and can't back it up, but Larry could back up every single word." That's what made their rivalry so powerful. Bird's trash talk wasn't empty, it was prophecy. One of Bird's most infamous moments came against the Phoenix Suns. Late in the game, Boston had the ball out of bounds. Bird walked over to the Suns bench and said, "I'm tired of this. I'm fixing to bust a three right here and go home." Sure enough, he broke free, caught the inbounds pass, and drilled a three right in front of their bench. As the ball was still in the air, he turned to them and yelled, "Told you so!" Then he ran straight to the locker room. No celebration, no chest pounding. Just another day at the office for Larry Legend. Even the media had to acknowledge Bird's dominance. After one legendary performance, points, rebounds, assists, steals, you name it, a Boston sportscaster literally played the Superman theme song over Bird's highlights. Because that's how he played, like someone beyond human. Kobe Bryant once admitted that when he studied film of Bird, he couldn't understand how someone who looked so slow, who couldn't jump, was torching the best defenders alive. The answer wasn't athleticism, it was Bird's brain, his timing, his fearlessness, and yes, his trash talk. Bird didn't just play basketball, he manipulated it. Toward the end of his career, Bird was asked if another Larry Bird would ever come along. His answer? Yeah, one day there will be another Larry Bird. But his peers disagree. Magic Johnson, his greatest rival, said flat out, "Larry lied. There will never, ever be another Larry Bird." Because what made Bird special wasn't just his jump shot, his passing, or his leadership. It was the combination of skill and psychological warfare. He wasn't just a player. He was a tormentor, a prophet who told you your fate before delivering it. So when people argue about the greatest trash talkers, they can mention Gary Payton, Charles Barkley, or Reggie Miller. But the truth is, none of them compare to Larry Bird. Because Bird didn't need volume. He didn't need to scream. His words weren't threats. They were guarantees. He told you the spot. He told you the move. He told you the shot, and then he buried you anyway. Larry Bird wasn't just one of the greatest basketball players ever. He was the undisputed king of trash talk. A legend who proved that sometimes the scariest thing isn't what you don't see coming, it's what you see coming and still can't stop. And that's why Larry Bird remains immortal, not just because of the rings, not just because of the MVPs, but because of the moments where he looked opponents in the eye and said, "This is what I'm going to do," and then did it.